Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, it's Jon Ransom. We're back again for an online youth group. So I was reading the scripture today, and it's in Ecclesiastes 3. And it talks about balance. There's a time for this, and there's a time for that. There's a time for like being alive and being dead. So I really started thinking about balance and what it means to have balance in life. And there's just so many areas where we need balance to be successful. So the first thing I want to talk about is balance in work, okay? This is something that we all desperately need, all right? Because it's very easy to fall into a pattern of either working way too hard all the time or not working nearly enough. And I've seen both sides of the coin, and both are self-destructive. So this is Proverbs 28:19. It says, "Work hard and you will have all that you desire, but chase a fantasy and you can end up with nothing." So this is the one side of the argument, okay? Work really hard and earn everything that you could need. All right. The next one is this. This is completely opposite side of the coin. It says, "It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food to eat. For God gives rest to his loved ones." Okay. So the other side of that is even when we're not working, God is going to give us things, and he's going to give us help, and he's going to work for us. This third scripture kind of ties that all together. It says, "So I saw that there is nothing better for people than to be happy in their work. That is our lot in life. No one can bring us back to see what happens after we die." That's Ecclesiastes 3:22, okay? So I think the balance is working hard at something you really enjoy. God has put in all of us talents and gifts, and if we can learn to use those for his kingdom, and also make money, because making money is it's kind of an important part of life. That is really the sweet spot. So what you guys have to do is pray and kind of start working on determining where it is that you're talented in and how to apply that to life. Okay, so the next point is this: balance and guidance. I wanted to jump right into this because we just talked about we need guidance in life to be able to figure out what we're supposed to do. So that might create panic in you, like, what if I can't figure out what to do? So this is what we're going to talk about, okay? Guidance. This says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." Thank goodness, because my understanding is quite limited, all right? "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." That's Proverbs 3:5-6, okay? So that's the biggest point of this scripture, is just acknowledge him in something when you're confused. If you're confused, you really don't know what to do, just say, "God, I want to do what you want me to do. I want to be the person you want me to be." You express to God the fact that you do want to follow his will for your life. You just have no idea how to get there. And what you got to understand is that there is grace for that. There is grace in that. All you have to do is try to communicate to God, "Hey, I need your help. I have no idea what I'm doing." And he honors that. We see this again in James 1:5, okay? "If anyone longs to be wise, ask God for wisdom, and he will give it. He won't see your lack of wisdom as an opportunity to scold you over your failures, but he will overwhelm your failures with his generous grace." I've seen this over and over again in my own life, okay? Especially this last part that says he will overwhelm your failures with his generous grace. The most effective method of turning my life around that God has used has been responding to my horrible failure with love and grace. Because when I see that, it doesn't make me fall into this pit of despair mentality. Instead, it makes me feel empowered to move on and move past it and to get into a new pattern of life. And I love that it says that it doesn't matter if you've made terrible mistakes. It doesn't matter if you have a lack of faith. It's about just going to him and saying, "I am not wise in this scenario. I am not wise in this situation. I am not wise about this thing. I need your help." Okay? All right, my last point is this: balance and grace. You say, "I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you." You say, "I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial." That's Paul talking to the church in a letter he wrote in Corinthians 10. It's 23 is the exact scripture. And that's talking about how within grace, we really could do anything and be forgiven for it. But what this scripture is saying is not everything's good for you. Really, what his rules were set up for to begin with is to protect us. We are often like compared to sheep in the Bible, like a lot, us Christians, or just us as people. And there's this one scripture, it's in Psalms 23, and it's talking about how God is our shepherd, all right? And it says this, even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close behind me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Something that shepherds would use while they were shepherding was it was a staff. You know, we all seen it's like the weird little curly thing. And the reason that it had the weird little curly thing on the end is so that they could reach out and grab sheep by the neck and pull them back when they were starting to wander from the path. Uh, I feel like that represents God's discipline. Okay, it it help. He also uses it to protect the sheep. He also uses it to discipline the sheep. But that image in my head gives me a lot of peace. The fact that he can reach out with the staff and just yank the sheep back onto the path. Because a lot of times we need that, we start to wander. Ooh, what's this? What's this? And then like there's just like hook, grab, throw back on the path. You know what I mean? It's like we really need that. And something you can really rest in is that even if you're really not sure what you're doing, you can jump out and try things. I had no idea what job I was supposed to get a couple months ago. So what I had to do was just jump out and try to get something. I just looked at what was happening. I prayed and I was like really not getting an answer. So I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna have to try something. So I just went out and I got a job at the grocery store. As most of you know, I work at the grocery store. Okay. And if that was wrong, I do believe God would have course corrected that. And maybe it wasn't exactly what God had planned, but He has used it for good. I mean, I've really gotten into the community better. I mean, my social anxiety has dropped like crazy because I'm forced to interact with strangers literally all day. It's part of my job. So, like, He's really used that for good in my life. So, you just got to jump out and try something sometimes and count on that correction to take place. That he's gonna move you back onto the path when you need to be moved back on the path, okay? One of the biggest things the enemy uses in this life is he tries to tip balance on us. And 100% of the time, it's because he wants to take our peace, okay? I have never been, like incredibly lazy, not doing all the work I was supposed to do, just ignoring my responsibilities and had peace. You know what I mean? Like I've always felt anxious, like at some point I'm going to have to fix this. You know what I mean? Like you never have peace in those situations. And I never had peace while I was working way too much, driving myself into the ground. I felt anxious about all the things I was supposed to be doing because I was giving myself crazy amounts of expectations. It's just like we pile all this stuff on there. There's a balance in between. And that is in large part what we got to find. And you got to understand that to be able to find those balances is something that could take your entire life, and God would not be mad at you or disappointed in you for it taking a very long time. Uh, he will course correct for us. He will help us, and He will help you. It's all about counting on grace and believing in our hearts that He will course correct us when we stray from the path. All right. Well, I'm praying for you guys. You have a great week.